In 1590, 115 English men, women, and children vanished from the coast of North Carolina. They left behind empty cabins, abandoned belongings, and the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post. 3 years earlier, the colony's governor, John White, had sailed back to England to gather supplies, but a war with Spain trapped him across the Atlantic, leaving the Roanoke settlers entirely cut off from the rest of the world. When White finally managed to navigate back to the island, he stepped into a ghost town. The settlement was dismantled and empty. Among the missing was his own infant granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. Without signs of struggle or the presence of graves, the island offered only a total silence. Roanoke entered the historical record as a void, an unexplained disappearance that has lasted 4 centuries. Today, modern archaeologists are looking past the old folklore to treat the island as a forensic dataset. Using ground-penetrating radar, isotopic analysis, and forensic excavation, researchers are finding that physical evidence remains consistent even when the history books are written to emphasize the unknown. The 1587 colonists didn't evaporate. Their trail was simply buried underground, waiting for modern technology to unearth it. In 2012, British Museum researchers re-examined La Virginia Pars, a map drawn by Governor John White. They noticed a small paper patch glued over an inland section. Using X-ray spectroscopy, they discovered a hidden 4-pointed fort symbol beneath it, exactly 50 miles inland from Roanoke. Before White had left for England, the colonists had discussed relocating 50 miles into the Main. This concealed symbol provided the first coordinate for a search outside the island. Following the map's coordinates, excavation teams moved off Roanoke Island, crossed the Albemarle Sound, and set up digs in Bertie County at the mouth of Salmon Creek. They designated their prime search areas as Site X and Site Y. Digging, they uncovered metal aglets used to secure 16th century shoelaces, lead cloth seals, and pieces of early flintlock firearms, objects characteristic of Elizabethan England. They also found Surrey, Hampshire borderware, a rare green glaze ceramic manufactured only during the exact window of the Roanoke expeditions. Finding these domestic items concentrated 50 miles inland suggests a specific survival strategy. With supplies running out, the English may have fractured into smaller factions to establish sustainable family farms along the river. But Site X was too small to hold all 115 people. The trail suggests the colony split. While one faction moved inland, another cohort appears to have traveled south down the coast to Hatteras Island, then known as Croatoan. They made this move during a brutal climatic shift known as the Little Ice Age. Facing freezing temperatures and severe crop failures, the English settlers would have struggled to survive without indigenous help. Excavation teams digging at native village sites on Hatteras found English technology integrated into the soil. They uncovered bar iron and microscopic hammerscale, the physical byproducts of an active metal forge operating on native land. Then, researchers found a specific piece of forensic data. A 16th century lead musket ball, fired from a European weapon, was found embedded directly into the jawbone of a deer. Since Native Americans in this region didn't cast lead or operate iron forges, this industrial debris and ballistics suggests the English didn't just pass through. It points towards a group living on the island, hunting with their own tools, and slowly blending into the local landscape. There was no massacre. There were no supernatural events. The Roanoke Colony was simply abandoned by the English government during a time of global conflict. Left to their own devices, these refugees were taken in by a vibrant indigenous network. They shared food and shelters to endure the freezing winters. Over a century later, European explorers surveying the Carolina coast met Native Americans on Hatteras Island with striking gray eyes, who passed down oral histories of ancestors who could speak out of a book. The colonists may have traded their national identity for biological survival, building one of the first blended societies in North America. So why were we all taught that they vanished? The concept of a lost colony didn't gain traction until the 1930s, when an outdoor play was written to boost Outer Banks tourism during the Great Depression. That theatrical narrative took on a life of its own, eventually obscuring the historical accounts of peaceful Native American assimilation. If the physical trail suggests that the mystery of Roanoke was actually answered generations ago, it raises a difficult question. why did we prefer the myth of the lost over the reality of those who survived?